Welcome back to another video here on the Washington Football Maniacs YouTube channel. I am Greg Sykes here with my buddy Brandon Scott, and we are covering post-game thoughts here on the Atlanta Falcons game that we had earlier today. The Washington Commanders beat the Atlanta Falcons 24-16. It's an ugly win, but it was a win nevertheless. We have our thoughts on this. We'll give you the game balls. We'll give you some analysis as far as what we thought about the game. With that said, we'll get into this. But before that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Please make sure you're subscribed if you're enjoying the channel. Please go ahead. Doesn't cost you anything to hit that subscribe button. And when you do, make sure you also hit that notification bell so you'll never miss a video release. As well, folks, we're starting to kind of test a few little 10-minute live streams here and there in the morning. We'll probably start doing that some in the evening as well, Brandon and I. But we just want to get you guys more involved because we love you guys so much that we want you guys to be more interactive with us. So whatever we can do to make this channel fun and exciting. And with that said, I'm going to shut up about that. Now, let's just get into this game. All right, so we're talking about this game. Sam Howell, guess what, folks? He got sacked. Can you believe that? I never thought he would get... Okay, yes. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Brandon, it was, what, 31, 32 sacks, I think, total this year so far. 5 sacks today on Sam Howell. Now, I will say at least half of those sacks were on Sam Howell. They were covered sacks. Sam Howell needs to learn to get rid of the football.
Yep.
And, you know, that's on him. We can't really blame the offensive line on that as much. And we know that. Now, yes, we also know that there are some issues with the offensive line. And before I go any further, I just really want to really quickly say I want to send out my condolences to the Leno family with their loss of their child. You know, this is bigger than football. This is bigger than anything else. My heart goes out to them. You know, my wife and I, we know about miscarriages and things like that. So my heart, my prayers, my thoughts go out to the Charles Leno family, both him and Jen. They're lovely people. So thoughts and prayers from the Maniacs family to the Leno family.
Absolutely.
So talking about the game, Sam Howell is 14 of 23, 151 yards, averaged a little over 6.5 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think this is the first 3-touchdown game he may have had this year. I'm not sure. I have to check the stats on that. No interceptions. That is one big key. Yeah, you know, Sam Howell protected the football today. But one glaring thing, Brandon, that I know that we will get into as well, is that Eric Bieniemy still not really calling a balanced offense. 10 carries for 31 yards for B-Rob. He needs more carries than that. He needs more rushing yards to that. Yep. Excuse me. I am getting over a cold, so you're going to hear me getting kind of, you know, I'm not getting emotional. I'm just all stopped up. But, yeah, I love the running game, right? I love the running game, so I want more of the running game. We got to see Chris Rodriguez, though. I was excited to see that, Brandon. 4 carries, 23 yards. So, you know, that was nice. Antonio Gibson had about 3 yards. So, but yeah, we got to get a little bit more with the running game involved. Terry McLaurin leading the receivers in receptions, 81 yards. Curtis Samuel had 4 yards. Or, I'm sorry, 4 receptions, 42 yards. So, Not a lot of passes to the tight ends in this game. Only one pass to Logan Thomas. We didn't see Cole Turner. We didn't see anything from Bates, John Bates. So really, tight ends were a non-factor in this game. Damian Brown, no catches. John Dotson, a ghost. He had one target, no catches. So Brandon, what are we got to give game balls out? So let's start this out positive because this is a win. I want to keep this positive, but it was an ugly win.
Oh yeah,
It was a very ugly win. But let's keep this positive, Brandon. I want you to give out your game ball. So just tell me what you thought about the game, your game balls, what you think.
okay. Giving out my game ball. My game ball, it goes to the defense. A lot of criticism going towards the defense from from the Thursday night game against the Chicago Bears. Obviously, a lot of people calling for Jack Del Rio to be fired. I think there's still calls out there for that, but I think the defense did respond. They kept us in the game because a lot of mistakes were made by the Atlanta Falcons, and our offense was stagnant. Like I said, 3 touchdowns, yeah, but I mean, 151 passing yards is just it's got to get better than that. I mean, Terry McLaurin obviously is the favorite of Sam Howell, but they got to find a way to get everybody involved. I mean, Curtis Samuel, 4 catches, 42 yards, got a touchdown, but still, no targets for De'Ami Brown, no targets for Jahan Dotson, 1 catch by Logan Thomas. I mean, you got to find a way to distribute the ball amongst the other receivers, man, because, Terry McLaurin, he's got that talent to where, he could fight through double teams and still be, able to get the reception. But you're going to wear this man out. I mean, you've got to find a way to get Jahan Dotson involved. You've got to, because he's too talented not to have an impact on the game. Yeah, I mean, same thing with Curtis Samuel. Good touchdown. That Curtis got. He 4 catches, but still, you got to get him involved. And even with Antonio Gibson, you got to get him more involved in the pass game because again, you're starting to see Rodriguez get some carries. So you should start to see a little more passing downs for Antonio Gibson. Get him more involved with the passing game. Screens, just do. I thought that Eric Bieniemy should have done a lot more, man. And I think that's the biggest thing with EB, man, is that he hasn't been very consistent this year. Some games where it's like, okay, I see it, and some games like I don't see it at all. I mean, and we were just talking about before the podcast, man, about how Kansas City. I think the biggest thing with EB, man, is this. And then we kind of get back to his Kansas City days, is that he's got to evolve his play calling around the personnel that he has. Now, Terry McLaurin, and as good as he is, does he have the speed that Tyreek Hill had in Kansas City? No. You got to evolve that. You got to use a lot of pieces. That we have a fast receiving core, but you don't have. We have a different receiving core than they had in Kansas City. And and another thing with EB, man, is that you've got to get the run game involved, man. I mean, again, 10 carries, Brian Robinson, 10 carries. I mean, he's got to get. Look, what really puzzled me is this, man. It was about 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And it was 3 and out, and we're already giving the ball back to him. I mean, what are we doing? The run game controls the clock. I mean, he's got to understand that, the run game controls the clock. Feed Brian, especially when you're up, feed him the ball. Grind down the defense. And so that I think that was big on EB, man. That I was very disappointed to see how we're giving them the ball back with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. And they're only down by 8. So it's still a one possession game. So I think he kind of dropped the ball on that. So the offense was really a down day for the offense. EB's got to get better. He's got to utilize the personnel that he has in offense because, again, look at the weapons he has. You don't necessarily have to give Gibson the ball 15 times a game. I mean, heck, he didn't give Brian Robinson the ball 15 times a game, but with the run game, Brian Robinson and Rodriguez can do the job. I mean, as far as the pass game, you have too many weapons for Terry McLaurin to get 8 catches and then your next guy is 4. No, he's got to be more creative. He's really got to utilize and really fit his play call style to this personality he has. It's not Kansas City, man. DC, we are accustomed to running backs. There's a long list of running backs that we've had in this organization, from Alfred Morris to Clinton Portis to John Riggins. I mean, this is a rushing franchise, because we understand the importance of the rush game. The rush leads to the pass. So if your pass game is stagnant, what's that tell me? your run game was stagnant because your run game sets of the pass. So that's how I feel about the offensive side of the ball. That's kind of my first takeaway from this game. But game ball wise, the defense kept us in it. I mean, shout out to St. Juice interception. Jamin Davis got the interception that sealed the game. Kendall Fuller, again, second game in a row where if you look at Chicago, he played well. You know, Emmanuel Forrest has been struggling, but now the secondary, this defense showed up. And this was a must-win game because going against New York, they, you know, I mean, New York, here's the thing. You still have to keep an eye on New York because they always find a way to beat us. They always play good against us. And, you know, depending on what's going on with Daniel Jones, but Daniel Jones always runs well against us. So you have to go into this matchup on the road in the Meadowlands against the Giants with momentum. So my game ball goes out to the defense. And really, you know, my biggest takeaway from the game, Greg, was this offense was stagnant, and they've really got to pick up the pace.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, as far as game balls go, certainly I give it to the defense as well. Defensive secondary, and the linebackers. You know, Jamin Davis getting his first interception of his career. You know, Kendall Fuller getting that interception. St. Juice getting that INT in the end zone to prevent a touchdown. Those were big plays that the defense needed to come up with. You know, the front four still a little suspect as far as getting pressure to the quarterback. Chase Young almost got there, but you know, almost only works in, was it horseshoes and hand grenades? He's always there, not quite there just yet, right? But you know, I still want to see a little bit more out of that. It looked like that the front four was trying to really shut down the running game a little bit more, which I felt that they were a lot more successful with that today. Today than what they have been in the past. Now, don't get me wrong, the defense was still allowing some good chunk yards today, but when it came down to it, they made the plays they needed to make. So my hat's off to the defense. They definitely improved over that Chicago game, and that is the difference. Yeah, to your point, I felt there was still some game mismanagement, you know, both on EB and Ron Rivera. You know, Ron Rivera in that first half calling a timeout for Atlanta, really helping Atlanta out.
Yeah.
And I was in disbelief. I was like, Ron Rivera, what are you doing? Now, if I'm not mistaken, that might have worked in our favor, but still, I was like, what are you doing? You just helped out Atlanta. And then later on, as you pointed out, Brandon, in the fourth quarter, you want to run the football, and Eric Bieniemy is still having Sam Howell dropping back, and I didn't get that at all. I don't understand that. You know, you run the football, and if you've got a pass, you know, do a screen pass or something. You know, some high percentage play that it may get stopped or it may go for a long play, but it keeps the clock rolling and forces the other team to use timeouts. I didn't get that at all. I think that, you know, to your point, I think that Eric Bieniemy, he's trying. It's like a square peg, round hole type of thing. You know, I think he's trying his best to bring all of Kansas City to Washington, and you've got to play to the talent that you have in Washington. And while we have very talented wide receivers, we have very talented running backs. We are built to be a running football team, honestly. And I think that that's what he needs to look at. And that's why I put out that video the other day, and I know that some people probably thought it was a head scratcher. They were like, you know, because the video was like, is Eric Bieniemy actually the right man for the job to lead this team, you know, as far as offensively, and if he is the successor as far as like the next head coach.
Yeah.
just because, has he really shown you enough to say that he knows how to utilize the talent? Today, honestly, we should have crushed the Atlanta Falcons,
Yeah.
and we didn't. The Atlanta Falcons really beat themselves. So if you want to get down to it, it was poor mismanagement on their part as well. Arthur Smith, he had some boneheaded calls. I mean, that 2-point conversion. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
I don't care what the analytics tell you. You know, you kick the extra point because you're only down by 7, and they had an opportunity to come back and tie the game. So, you know, honestly, this was a game that Atlanta could have very easily come back and beat us.
Yeah.
So, just by saying that, you know, I think that there's still a lot of growing to go with the coaching with Eric Bieniemy. Obviously, there's still a lot of growing to go. You know, with our players, with Sam Howell, we know he's only started 7 games. He's going to get better. He's got to learn to not take so many sacks. He's got to learn to get rid of the football. But we've got to have a more balanced attack on offense. You have a more balanced attack on offense. You have more ball-controlled offense. You're going to win football games. And you're going to control football games a lot better, too. That was my keys to victory for this game, was run the football and pressure Desmond Ridder. And we didn't really get a lot of pressure to Ridder, and we didn't really run the football. You know, luckily we came up with some really big plays there, you know, that allowed us to win this football game, but could have been much worse. So I have to tell you, Brandon, this does not give me the warm and fuzzies going against the Giants.
No.
At all. So, you know, I want to see a complete game on all phases. One thing I will tell you, or I don't even know if I've given anybody a game ball. Maybe I have. I don't know. I would definitely give a game ball to Jamison Crowder.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I am so glad he is back with us. We have found a punt returner. Keep him back there. Kick returns, punt returns. I don't care. He's the man. I hate it when we got rid of Jamison Crowder the first time. I'm glad he's back with Washington. He is the man. So keep him back there. So give him the game ball. That 60-plus yard return set up a good touchdown for us. So my hat's off to him. So, yeah, I mean, you know, tough fought win. Could have went either way, honestly. So right now, a lot of us fans are like, we won.
Yeah.
We won.
Yeah, and like you said, it really doesn't. I mean, it gives you a little bit of motivation going to a Giants game, but not too much, because here's the thing. The whole Ron Rivera era, can you remember a blowout win for us?
No.
I mean, it's
Not at
always either it's always a close victory or a sloppy victory, or it's always, you know, the mistakes by the other team. I mean, it's just, and it gets to the point where, you know, I get it. You know, you mentioned growing. You know, obviously EB, you know, this is his first year in DC. So like you said, he's got to evolve his play style around the personnel that he has, because this is not Kansas City. It's a totally different personnel. So he's got to evolve and really change his play style around the personnel that he has, not try to, you know, adapt the system to the personnel. You know what I'm saying? It's just he's got to change his play style. But, you know, as far as Ron Rivera, I mean, it's the same trend in Carolina, which is we're not blowing anybody out. All 4, I don't know how many years he's been here. I believe 4 years, right? It's the same nail biter every week, which tells me what? It's just his play style sometimes, and just his talent management is just questionable every week, man. It's always these mind-numbing calls he makes. Either it's like, you know, he goes for 2 when he's supposed to kick a field goal, or, you know, instead of going, you know, it's just like, what are you doing, man? I mean, I just, I personally think that he can win the rest of the games. I think they're still going to find another head coach.
Yeah.
Because he ain't it, man. He ain't it. Like I said, personally, I do like Ron Rivera.
Mm-hmm.
I do like him. But as far as him as a head coach, if we intend to turn this back into a Super Bowl winning franchise, it's not going to be under Ron Rivera.
No.
Okay, we've got to go out here and we got to find coaches who have championship experience, because we're not retaining any good coaches, because we just allowed Kyle Shanahan to walk. We allowed LaFleur to walk. We let McVay walk, which easily I would take McVay and Kyle Shanahan in DC in a minute, be honest with you. But it's just we let good coaches walk. So this is an ugly win, but it's a tiring trend because we need to be dominant. This offense is too daggone good to be scratching by. I mean, and it tells you we're just not utilizing the personnel that we have. We have way too many weapons. Jahan Dotson, this is supposed to be a breakout year for him, and he's an afterthought. So what is his long-term fit in DC? And I just, under Ron Rivera, I don't know what his long-term fit is, because, now, you can look at last year and say, all right, maybe we won that trade as far as, trading back for Jahan Dotson as opposed to going with Olave or Jameson Williams or the targets they had a wide receiver at the time. But we traded back for him. But now it's like, what is his long-term fit? Is he a long-term fit here? Because he is non-existent this season. And it's just, Sam Howell gets in trouble 2 ways, or really 3 ways. He holds onto the ball way too much. He runs into sacks, and he faces his receivers down. Everybody on the field knows where the ball's going, which most of the time is either Scary Terry or he checks the ball down. I mean, it's just what it does. I mean, his eye is on Scary Terry the whole time, and that's why it seems like he's so quick to go through progressions, because there's only 2 people he's going through in progressions. I mean, he's got to get Jahan involved. I mean, Curtis Samuel, yeah, he gets involved sometimes, but they're not utilizing him. He has too much talent as far as running and catching the ball for him just to be used as a conventional receiver. No, be more creative in the play calling. EB's got to step it up, because it's still early. Look, you're going to New York. New York always finds a way to beat us. We always split with New York. Daniel Jones, whether he plays or not, Saquon's supposed to play this next game for the Giants, but he's always hurt, so we'll see. But Daniel Jones always runs on us every single time. We are so suspect against running quarterbacks. So I would definitely, I know we're going to do a formal preview, so definitely, definitely watch that. But Daniel Jones is one of those players I'm watching the next game, man, because he always runs well against us, and we're suspect against run. We're suspect against the pass. It's just, how Bijan Robinson did not run all over us today. It was beyond me. I think, there's 2 people I really want to shout out real quick on the defense. One is Casey Toohill, man. 2 sacks. This first round D line, it was Casey Toohill that got a sacks today. I'm just saying. And as much, smoke as we go towards Jamin Davis, 1 interception, 1 sack today. So he did his job shadowing Bijan Robinson. I thought that we really kept Robinson in check in this game, because, if he gets loose, man, that is a long day. Now, Drake London got his, which we both called that, So, hey, you heard it here first. We knew that Drake London, because look at the trend. A.J. Brown, look at it, DJ Moore. It's just receivers have big games against us. And I just don't see that trend going anywhere. I think the only way it ends, because what receivers do the Giants really have? So, I think it's going to end just because of that. But, yeah, man, the defense came through in a big way today. Very, very proud of the defense, because they kept us in this game. Because, I'm going to make this point real quick on my bounce, because, I get on my little stool. But we got to stop this nail-biting winning all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We got to be dominant. That's how you win titles, man. It's dominance. Dominating the other team. Barely scratching by just ain't working, man. It's not working anymore. Ron Rivera, look, you best believe he is coaching for his job right now, because you have a whole new ownership in the office right now. Look, they're going to go out there and they're going to get that marquee name and coach. And obviously it's not going to be Sean Payton, which was a guy that I thought we might have should have taken a look at. But, they best believe there's going to be some candidates out there that are going to have Super Bowl experience. And that's what we need. We need to bring Super Bowl experience to this team. Because, again, I like Ron Rivera, but outside of 1 season in Carolina where he went 15-1, he's either been, 8-8 or below. He has not been a dominant coach. And we need to stop this experiment. I was not big on Jay Gruden. I'm so glad we don't have him here anymore. And Ron Rivera just, to me, was, I think at the time they went after a name. which he was just that name on the market at the time. And we know how Snyder was. You just went after names. He threw on how much money at Hayward. So we're not going to talk about that. But but whole new ownership, you best believe they're trying to start a trend towards winning, man. Because Magic Johnson, we know how he does as far as sports management. Same thing with Josh Harris. They both do not accept losing. This is not what they accept. They expect success. And when you look at a franchise like the Commanders, going back to the Redskins, I mean, this is a franchise who at one time was very feared in the NFL. And we need to get back to that. We need to bring respect back to this organization as far as winning. And, and really bring some prestige back to these Cowboys and Commanders games. You know what I mean? It's just so that's where I'm at, man. I'm gonna shut up right now, but the offense has to step up because next week, look, don't be surprised if the Giants try to come out and punch us in the mouth. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with you. I really what I hope to see honestly is more creativity, and not just with the play calling, but with packages as well. Why do we not see more tight end packages where you have 3 tight ends? You have a blocking tight end, you have 2 pass receiving tight ends. Maybe you still run out of those packages, but we don't see any of that. Like more jumbo packages, stuff like that. More smash mouth type of packages. But to your point with the coaching, I think it's inevitable that we are going to see a coaching change next season, and knowing that, what I do hope is that they do see that there is a core nucleus of a lot of great players on this team. So I don't want to see a complete clean house because we have way too much talent to I just want to do a clean slate, because I think that's really, I just don't think that that's something that you need to do. You got a lot of talent at, especially on offense and defense. Yeah. So you just need the coaches. You need the right coaches to coach these players up. So yeah, I mean, it's going to come, and I just hope that Harris and Johnson and guys like that, they're able to really be able to go out and find guys like that. Obviously, it's probably going to come of finding a good general manager.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, usually the rule of thumb is the general manager hires the coaching staff or the head coach. So you want to be able to find the right guy to lead as far as the general manager. And, so I think that they've got a lot of work to do with that. And I love Ron Rivera as a person, but I think the game has passed him by. Jack Del Rio as well. So let's get somebody else in here who knows how to utilize this talent.
Yeah.
And I'm still not sold on Eric Bieniemy as well. I mean, yes, I realize that he has a little bit more of a hard-nosed approach in practice and training camp and stuff like that. That's fine and great, but there's more to it than just that.
Yeah.
It's got to be the whole package.
Yep.
And I want a coach that's got the whole package, not just parts. And we can't just settle on a coach that's got a few aspects and not the whole deal. Because ultimately, as Washington Commanders fans, we want to see this team go all the way to the Super Bowl. We want to see greatness again. Yeah. A lot of you fans, our younger fans, have never got to witness that. I'm one of the luckier ones. I'm a little bit older. I got to witness all of the Super Bowl wins. So I understand that feeling. And I want you guys to have that same feeling. And I don't want you guys to settle. You've settled for crap, for the last, 20 plus years under Snyder. You don't deserve that. So we need a good coaching staff that will come in and get the job done. So that being said, we're over the 30 mark. I'm going to end that conversation now. But Brandon and I will be back later on in the week. We were going to discuss that Giants game that's going to be coming up next Sunday.
Yes, sir.
We're going to be talking about our keys to victory and what we feel like is going to have to take place in order for the Commanders to get above 500. We want to be 4-3, folks. So that said, Brandon, you got anything else for us, buddy?
No, sir. Ugly win, but I'm looking forward to next week, man. Let's beat those G-men.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. If you stayed this long, thank you so much. You guys are rock stars. Rock stars. Make sure you have subscribed to the Washington Football Maniacs. We also have channel memberships. Feel free to check that out as well. Make sure you have hit that notification bell. Comment on our videos. Let us know what we can do better. Like our videos, at least if anything else. And with that said, folks, we will see you in the next one. Peace, everybody.